The First Amendment isn't just like any other amendment. It is the precursor to every other freedom that we have, because freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of conscience is really just freedom of thought, freedom to be who you wish to be in this country. And if you can't do that, then you might as well put on the shackles of any other dictatorship or religious theocracy all around the world. This is why freedom of religion was the first thing in the First Amendment. Nobody ever really talks about that. Law respecting establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, abridging freedom of speech or press, the right of the people to peaceably assemble or petition their government. So it says everything flows directly from your moral conscience, right? What you believe in your heart, your relationship with God, your ability to express that relationship with God, and your ability to take that out on your government, right? So it says that there's like no limitations for what you can say or think in this country, even if those ideas are naughty, even if those ideas are hurtful to people. Because, like, frankly, that's the point, isn't it? That we're not going to agree all the time. And so it's best that no one party can use the state to punish somebody for thoughts that they don't like, or opinions or freedoms that they don't like, viewpoints they don't like. That's how you get dictatorships, obviously. And that's what the colonists were trying to break. Those are the shackles they were trying to break. My favorite story of the original founding fathers is that, like, these guys, one of them was put in prison and had his newspaper taken away and his family bankrupted because he published cartoons of King George. He was publishing funny cartoons of a fat King George getting a pitchfork in the ass. And of course, that was banned. Banned. You're not allowed to say that about the king. And this is sort of the precursor to the First Amendment. Anyway, I don't agree with what you're saying, and I'll die for your right to say it, kind of thing. The N-word, not a word that I say, just because it's an ugly word, and why draw the controversy? But it is a word that is celebrated in our society. You can see chart-topping hits. And of course, every rap song, including this word, an enormous amount of American culture, including this word. I'll leave it to you. Everybody has like a different opinion on this word. Even though I don't use it, there is no law against using it. In fact, people use it and make enormous amounts of money. How much did Kanye West and Jay-Z make off of this song that was top of the charts for like 10 weeks, right? That like includes the N-word in it 50 times, including the title. Anyway. A white woman used that word, and she was just found guilty in Minnesota, of course. Here we go. An Olmsted County judge reached a split verdict on the trial of a woman accused of calling a child a racial slur. Shiloh Hendricks is her name, and she was found guilty of disorderly conduct against a man operating a camera, not guilty of disorderly conduct against a child. Prosecutors say Hendricks called an 8-year-old boy with autism a racial slur. Okay, I'm sorry. Wait a second. What? Well, like, who cares? What I mean by that is like, she's an American citizen. She's allowed to say whatever word she wants. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to even like it. But of course, it's her right. And you can suffer the consequence. Sometimes there's cultural consequences, but there shouldn't be any legal consequences. This is insane. The jury found Hendricks guilty of disorderly conduct against the man operating a camera. Not guilty of disorderly conduct against the child. She will receive supervised probation, 90 days in jail, which is stayed. So she doesn't have to go to jail. She has to serve 200 hours of community service. She's ordered to pay a $1,000 fine. If I remember correctly, this is like a Somali immigrant that was attacking or harassing her. And now she has to pay for it. This is insane. She has to appeal it immediately. She needs to appeal this up to the Supreme Court. So as far as I can tell by the video, she never attacked the man. She never did anything physically abusive to anyone. You know, she's not like Irina Zastruka, who got stabbed in the neck and killed by a black man on a bus. Or Carmelo Anthony, right, who took the life of somebody. She just used a naughty word. Okay. She, of course, has every right to do that. I've seen absolutely zero evidence that she attacked anyone or physically had any altercation. She just used words. This is a terrifying ruling. This is what they do in England, where like language is criminalized. The English language is criminalized. You can't share memes. It's like all the way back to the revolutionary time. You can't share memes. Carlos Brown murdered Irina. Shiloh Hendricks said the N-word. Guess who faced trial first? That's right. That's exactly right. Goodness gracious. The man who was filming Shiloh Hendricks, he was previously charged with raping a 16-year-old, and she ran away from a foster home. According to court records, the teenager, law enforcement, that Mohammed Omer, okay, so there we go, so most likely a Somali immigrant, picked her up at a quick trip. So he's a sexual predator. He's a sex predator. And that didn't have any effect on the trial here. Very interesting how the more we increase diversity, the more it coincides with actual government tyranny. Probably just a coincidence. That's right. The government needs us to hate each other. They can't do that in a high trust society. In a high trust homogenous society, like, people don't actually have many differences, quite frankly. You're able to accelerate, right, the thinking beyond just like the lowest common denominator. Are words criminal? No, they're not, actually. Shiloh Hendricks was found guilty of disorderly conduct. So not guilty, and then guilty towards the videographer. Reminder that the videographer is a Somali predator charged with raping a teen, but was let go. In Minnesota, if a foreigner sexually assaults a minor, he goes free. But if you say the N-word, then you are punished by the state. Two-tiered justice system. That's right. Flagrant violation of the First Amendment, totally outrageous. And all the most retarded people in this country will celebrate this verdict while still pretending to support free speech. Nope, I'm not celebrating any of that. So wait a second. We're told that Shiloh Hendricks, says Matt Walsh, berated a child. Is allegedly the reason the Somali guy started filming and harassing her. But the jury acquitted her of that and then added a charge of disorderly conduct against the camera guy, which means she actually didn't say anything to the kid. She was being harassed by the guy with the camera for no reason. Now she's convicted of a crime for telling the guy to leave her alone. This is total madness. Total madness. Goodness. In Minnesota, you'll be charged with and convicted of a crime for using bad words. But if you do $20,000 worth of damage to a Tesla or a Target, you'll be let free. Take it to the Supreme Court. The era of magic words being incitement to violence has to end. She called a Somali sex offender on the playground the N-word, and now she's found guilty of disorderly conduct. I want to remind you that Shiloh Hendricks has been convicted of saying a naughty word before Irina Zastruka. Murderer has been sentenced, or Charlie Kirk's murderer. The First Amendment doesn't exist for polite words, comfortable words, or non-controversial words. You need constitutional protection for being nice. You need no constitutional protection for being nice. It exists precisely for the most offensive, vile speech. There are limitations, yes, but this is not one of them. A Somali antagonized Shiloh and now is being punished for freedom of speech. She didn't even threaten him. I thought this was America. That's right. We got to deport Max, boys. That's right. Even if you got Shiloh off on appeal, it wouldn't matter. The process is the punishment. They won't care about what the higher court rules. They'll put another white person through this process in a heartbeat because they are conquerors. That's right. Where's the ACLU? Yes, right. Here's Shiloh Hendricks' attorney, his thoughts on the case. Very angry and total nonsense. Look at the prosecutor in the case for the state wearing a Somali pin right here. You can see like this is some pin of Somalia. Anyway, here's the defense attorney for Shiloh Hendricks sharing his thoughts on the case. Here's what we found most important here.
What's your reaction to the verdict today?
I think it's pathetic. I think it's sad. I think it's sick. I think shocked. I've never had a trial where they keep people. This is a misdemeanor, by the way, till 10:30 at night. Never even heard of that one before. Most courts, most counties, what they do is around 4:30, 5 o'clock is they say, okay, we're going to send the jurors home. They got kids, they got families, they got things to do. No, we're keeping them. I've never heard of that before. So that alone, I know this is a thing, I guess, Olmsted County, they do this. I thought that was bizarre. But the verdict itself, let's make something clear here. Let's make something very clear. She's acquitted, not guilty, right? Not guilty with the child. The state reads a 5-minute victim impact statement about the child? She was acquitted about the child. She's convicted on the count involving the cameraman, who they never called to testify. Keep this in mind. They never called the cameraman to testify. This judge prohibited us from telling the jury that Shire Jamali had a GoFundMe page, $340,000. He testified that it was done in May last year, done. That's not true. There's a link on the bottom of the page that goes to another open account. My investigator hit the link last night, donated $10. It's open. You can donate right now. You can donate right now to Shire Jamali's GoFund page right now. It's open. He testified under oath and perjured himself. He perjured himself over and over and over and over again. This was without any stretch of the imagination. It was like I was fighting the prosecutor and the judge. It was like I'm taking on two parties at the same time. The judge and the prosecutor. It was very bizarre. Very bizarre. GoFundMe. Huge, worldwide, giant. It's like Google, right? This is so big. My investigator was going to testify that this page with Shire Jamali's name on it. 5-year-old. The kid's 9. 5-year-old. $340,000 he raised. The judge would not let me show it to a jury. Sorry. The judge would not let me show it to the jury. Okay? And if you go through any of you right now can go online right now. And the judge, like, you can't authenticate this. You can't lay foundation. This prosecutor is telling the judge, oh, how do we know this is real? How do we know this is real? So anyone can make this up. You can go online right now, today, right now. Go on that page, unless they run and take it down. Scroll down. He has an open GoFundMe. He said on the stand he does not. He lied and lied and lied and lied.